All right, and we are live. We are live. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. The 363 Empire has. I gotta get my intros back going again.
Yeah,
I haven't done my intros since the AI
You need a
workshop.
you need a jingle, my G.
Jingle, all of that.
You
Yeah,
need
man.
a
So
360
I was
Empire
writing
jingle.
something yesterday in my head. There's some bars that came up and they was around the channel, so I was putting something together.
mm,
Uh-oh.
yo, remember Sonetta had his theme music?
Yeah,
It's Sonetta.
but remember
Got a
he
few
would have,
jingles.
yeah, he would have a few things. He
He
would
had a
open,
few of them, yeah.
Yeah,
so it,
rotation.
yeah, at different times. You know what I'm saying? You can go to different selections to set that tone. Like speaking about battle rap, somebody put it in very good perspective. They like, oh, y'all is Black Magic Smack DVD era.
Mm,
Like how they got what you call it, like Murder Mook and Lux,
mm-hmm,
and then they got URL.
mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No facts.
So that was a dope. Speaking about battle rap, you know, it's somewhat of a conversation that maybe we'll be able to merge into today's broader conversation.
You talking about Cassidy?
Yeah, Cat, that's the talker.
Yeah, I was disappointed that it didn't go. It's it's full length, but
They built that one up.
incredible marketing. I mean,
Grudge, the
Cassidy,
grudge, the
incredible,
grudge match. Yeah, they built that one up big time.
credible marketing.
But like I said, I think we'll find out back there, after we start this conversation today.
Indeed.
That energy and that ideology, and that there can only be won by any means, but putting on for the city, but the city turn against you.
Mm.
And literally, we seeing the city turn against Diddy. They said that his family's getting canceled now.
Yeah,
I said, "Yep, let's talk
yeah.
about it."
Let's start the show, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, I want to welcome to the show. These guys are regulars here. They've been regulars for quite some time. The red and the blue pillar. Welcome back, my brothers.
Peace.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
wow. So at first I was a little hesitant to watch the documentary. I just said to myself, it's a hit piece by 50. He's not coming at Clive Davis, so I don't want to see that shit. He's just tearing another black man down. White people don't tear Hugh Hefner down. Then I seen a clip Red posted where they was talking about how the jealousy Diddy had of Pac. Pac is my man. That's my spirit right there. So I was like, oh no, I gotta see this. Started watching it. Episode 1 was a killer. Woo! How they went in on episode 1 with the whole Pac thing and
Yeah.
Diddy. Oh man. So I got hooked. I watched the entire thing. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of learning lessons, especially if you're a black man. What's your thoughts, red and blue, on the just to start out with on the docu series that 50 put together?
Can I say this? Cinematically wise, I think it was an epic production. The way that they were able to acquire real time footage, and then they were able to stitch it together with other archival footage, and then footage that was exclusive that the producer dude had. So it felt so real because you got such an insider insight into like unfiltered, you feel me, without no mask on, without no makeup on, if you will, right? And it finally affirmed to you your wildest fears that he's really who he says he is.
Mm.
But at the same time, he's not who he says he is. So you get to see both of those dynamics together. Um, Yeah, and I would say that that sets the premise that regardless of how I feel about it, I think that it was a very succinct expose into to getting somewhat into an insider insight into his quote unquote character. Even though a lot of documentaries have been done, I felt that the way that they put this together cinematically, it was very engaging and it was very revealing.
Indeed. Red.
Yeah, for like Blue said, for a man like P. Diddy who made his name in the spotlight, the only way to expose him is to put him in the spotlight. And that's what the documentary succeeded in doing. It is called The Reckoning, and I like that title. I'm glad that they didn't say the expose or the exposure. It is The Reckoning because what it's forcing people to do is to have a great reckoning as to what they signed up for when they all, when people willingly joined the shiny suit era, the all about the Benjamins era, when they took that pill that Diddy and them, well, that Diddy was offering. The archival cinematic timeline. I think that that's a new that's not a new thing, but I think that set a standard that many people should follow when they want to tell a story. The storytelling on this was actually excellent. It wasn't overkill because quiet as kept, 40% of his story was told in that 4-part series. They literally left 60% out because there was no talk of Jay-Z. You didn't see him in the documentary. They saved, Michael Jackson being at his parties, you know what I mean? All of these things, like Prince hanging out at the Diddy party, they left out 50s BM and whatnot. They left out some intricacies about the whole circle of women that he wound up impregnating that happened to all be friends and whatnot. This circle of models with Kim Porter and when they were teenagers, how they were being moved around the industry. She comes through Russell Simmons, who passes her to Andre Harrell, but at the same time, they're working on Kimora. All of these it girls and whatnot, these models back in those days, amongst these very, these men as they depicted them, were not necessarily what they call sigma or alphas and whatnot. This is sort of a revenge of the nerd type of thing because you're talking about Russell. These are effeminate men. Russell, Andre Harrell. You get to see his nuances in the documentary. Diddy, Kirk Burroughs. You know what I mean? Like a lot of different things were going on, but these were men who were playing both sides of the fence and were into both alternate lifestyles and whatnot, and they just give you the breadcrumbs as to what created this monster that many people have now come to know of and whatnot. The reckoning part is the fact that he is the architect of the culture that people have acquiesced and actually have become. So it's literally people looking in the mirror and seeing themselves. So the outcry and all of and everybody just reacting and whatnot is the fact that this newer generation and our generation, they didn't have somebody put that mirror up and let them see themselves and whatnot and be like, nigga, that's you. That's you. Check it out. Look how you look. Narcissism, Machiavellianism. I'ma hit your girl because you just would have.
He's the crystallization of the four dark tetrads.
The 4 dark tetrads, Machiavellianism, narcissism. He's the dark tetrad, right? Psychology. What is that? Is psycho, like psychopathy.
Yeah. Psychopathy.
Psychopathy.
Yeah.
Dude is cold-hearted. He's the type that will he removed all compassion and whatnot. He knows how to shut off empathy. Huh, Blue?
Sadist is the last one.
Sadist, right?
You have to be able to shut off empathy in order for you to be a sadist, because you're taking pain to the extremes. And
right.
That is how you have alchemized the process of turning pain into pleasure, because in your mind, that is what creates the endorphin in your mind to tell you that this is pleasing. Because when they say that hurt people, and if you are someone more than likely that has been introduced to that aggressive sexuality through abuse, then the only way that you can
get off
and get off what can be borderline pleasure is that you have to, replicate that, and you have to go to an extreme, and then you have to go to the extreme of the extremes because you have to keep it going, and then there's a there's an aspect of abusing drugs for a particular point of time and specific drugs that makes your joint like non-compatible. You feel me?
Right.
You gotta really do extra work because now it's all mental.
Yeah,
And said that he always stayed fried.
yeah.
Right. But he
About this, like, and we got to be very clear, because this. I mean, and for us, this is like the illest autopsy and expose of scorpion nature ever on display. Because yeah, he has checked that box finally. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the nigga
right.
is a Scorpio.
Hmm. Mhm.
He is a Scorpio that has exhibited an aspect of his power on the lowest of nature of I desire. You know what I'm saying? And what one is doing, willing to do to get the things that they desire. As they said, when he made targets like Kim, I desire. You know what I'm saying? The rest of Bad Boy, I desire. I need that Rolling Stone cover. Not big. I desire. You
That's
feel me?
right. My desire is more than his. He's
Do
not
you,
here.
It's I desire is the strongest force on the planet. It incorporates scorpionic energy with its creative force.
Right. And remember, he'll stay up 3 nights on that scorpionic create. He'll drive that shit home for 3 nights straight. His desire was that strong.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
So,
Yeah, this shit is
so right. Let's check some boxes.
just on a metaphysical level, do you know how powerful it is? Because focus is an amplifier in this realm, and it's
right.
the main reason why people aren't successful, their lack of focus. You know how powerful his manifestation abilities were, being you know zoned in on something for 3 days straight because you so fucking high you can't sleep. So I
Right.
can see why he was manifesting the way he was. This nigga was high out his mind up for 3 days.
Right. And you're in the realm of music.
Yeah, on top of that.
So you're dealing with sound frequencies. And you got some of the illest artists. It ain't like you getting lazy bars and whatnot.
But you're dealing also with climatic energy, so you're always knocking on the door of
Right.
wherever the most high is ducking out at. You know what I'm saying? You are always closest to his ear. You keep this shit ringing. Them niggas had 3-day sessions like nonstop,
Right. Non-stop.
right? We talking unprecedented
Oh,
pounding being
nigga.
administered. You feel me? And that's the shit that you geeking off. So but creatively, you know what I'm saying, in that realm, in that world where he come from, because my thing is this: unapologetic, and this is more on the people than it is on him. Once somebody crosses over, there's no crossing back. You know what I'm saying? We knew who he was since 91. Before I seen that man's face physically, or before I seen his face in terms of like when we seen it in entertainment, I saw it on the New York Daily News with City College,
Right.
and you could look at him and tell that he was getting off. Like, yo, something ain't right about son.
You know, I'm sorry, real quick, Blue. It's because I hear a lot of people saying, yo, Diddy's a demon. They kept saying that on the internet and also in the documentary, like, yo, to move like that, you got to be a demon. Is this something, Blue? Do you think with your studying of spirituality, is this something that you come into this world possessed by a demon, or is this something later on in life, things happen to you and a demon just kind of takes over your
Yeah.
spirit?
I think that it's a culmination of a few things. I think that if you look in this chart, you can see the propensity for these things to take place. And then I think if you look at the processes and procedures in his life that we can track and measure, then you can potentially also see where some of these things may have taken place. You can say sins of the father, you know what I'm saying? And then you can also acknowledge that he went to a Catholic school where the father, the priest of that Catholic school, got indicted not too long after he left for being the head of a SA abuse ring.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And you understand in that dynamic, right, with a child that impressionable, when that violation takes place from there, and the mother is being aggressive about molding a alpha masculine, molding out of you based on the percentage of your father, but the sins of the father's not there to steer you through, you feel me, this treacherous terrain where if a young man that has the energy that we see as the 55 or 50, 56-year-old version of himself today, that energy was already in that young sprout. That light was already in that young man, right? This
Right.
prophecy was already foretold in his soul. So when they get you in them situations, and especially in them Catholic schools, and they know and they can gauge who is who and what's what, you feel me? And they start making those pacts because that act of domination, when the initial essay takes place, that is a ritualistic initiation.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like you get bitten by the vampire because now you automatically become Lestat and
Mm.
Right.
you can't help yourself but duplicate, almost like, yeah, you bit and you gotta go and bite. You don't even have a choice at some points. Because listen to what they said just in a pocket of time
Right. Right.
that
Right.
they was announcing he's a serial abuser. If he got 100 cases, how many people did he can't help himself with women and men? And that's just a pocket, a window of time that they identify. Kirk Burrows said since 91.
Yeah.
Mm.
He had the ability to express his desire of not being part of the thing because they said that he don't have game. He can't talk, he ain't had no game for women. He didn't have that. He ain't never had the gift of gab. So he, as Scorpio, going to use this material, Taurus, right? Earth's resources, minerals, and money. Taurus is big bank and is earth minerals. So he became the god of materialism, the shiny suit era. Everything shiny, shiny wheels, nigga, put him under the spell. Bro, I lived through this era. You know what I'm saying? He was the
Big
seven
change.
he changed the waves of reality by
He
changing
did.
brain waves of melanated men in particular, specifically the ones from Brooklyn Bed-Stuy, which is the deepest concept. That's the that's that black part of the brain. What's it called in Latin again, y'all?
I forget. Not medulla, right?
Not the medulla. Bobby always mentioned it.
Phil be talking about it too.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, that part, right? And Harlem as well, and other energy centers in the Empire State that controls as the head the rest of the motherboard. You know what I'm saying? Of cool, of intelligentsia, and of culture. You know, so this was a person who was responsible for putting the battery into the shit, driving the shit, and as the conductor of brainwaves, right? He was able to metamorph and terraframe a whole reality that we exist in to this day. Because once Big said it was all a dream, we have been part of that dream for 30 plus years. And his money cash holes and everything. And he was the rival to consciousness. That's why I've been telling y'all with my explanation, he was responsible for a triple blow to consciousness.
Yeah. Wu-Tang.
Right? Taking Wu-Tang out, taking Tupac out, you feel me? And also taking Big out because Big was on his way. Yes, the substantia nigra.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The substantia nigra. That's the planet Brooklyn. You
These
know,
were hazing rituals that Kirk Burroughs and other people were going through. When Kirk Burroughs said that he brought him in the office to show him getting fellatio,
Yeah.
hazing rituals, humiliation rituals, right? Especially when there's rumors of them two being lovers. Okay. He did say that he was essayed by Diddy on occasions, Kirk Burroughs.
Dang.
And out of everyone in that documentary, the one that I feel got done the dirtiest
Was him?
and was Kirk, hands down. He has been,
Yeah.
if he dies a death of despair, I'm not saying that, I don't want to say it like that, but you could tell that man is broken, he's hurt, he's trying to hold on, he feels extremely, quote unquote, done dirty by his ex-lover, allegedly, of course. Man, there's so much to unpack that we're being exposed to and whatnot. And it's not to say that this is new information. However, it's put in a way and it's sequenced in a way to whereas conversations can be had, and it's at the right time to have that conversation. This is definitely not a conversation to avoid, because the number one question should remain, now what? Because Diddy's influence on the industry has not waned, right? He is the architect. He has put people in place over those 30 years, power positions, the majority of the industry, because you got LA and you have New York industries, film and music, right? So if you're in the South or the Midwest, whatever you're doing in terms of music, chances are you're plugged into these two industries on the LA coast and on the New York coast. Those two coasts were gatekept by Diddy and Jay-Z, Sean Carter and Sean Combs, respectively. They were what they would call, when they say the boule is the guard dog and whatnot. These people, this is the ultimate gatekeeper. Like Blue was mentioning earlier, think Lestat, think Mind Flayer from Netflix, Stranger Things and whatnot. He's the Mind Flayer infects a host. That host will infect other people, right? So Lestat gets bit by he gets bit by ultimate vampire, and then Lestat becomes the vampire that turns out the other vampires who turn out other vampires. So now think industry. Diddy becomes this crown jewel or this crown prince through remember 91. Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. He's the A&R at Uptown. Uptown is the hottest label, right? I'm surprised why didn't Father MC get in the picture? Because Father MC got cloned. Okay, remember all of the things he was doing at Uptown. They got him fired and whatnot, and then subsequently put him in the run to get Bad Boy when he linked up with Clive Davis. But he creates the fashion, he creates the aesthetic, and he changes R&B and hip hop forever, just as the A&R. Mary J. Blige's entrance and Jodeci's entrance into R&B / hip hop changes the sound, changes the aesthetic, and it changes the culture, because now the B girls are dancing. They got their hat backwards. They wearing hood, you know what I mean? They're doing the Mary J shit. It brought a lot of promiscuity. It brought a lot of quote unquote, it started a sexual revolution, and that thing began to open up, and it hasn't closed ever since. Okay, that's P. Diddy's work. Remember, Aaron Hall becomes R. Kelly. Then you get Aaliyah and that side and whatnot. Well, Jodeci was hotter than Guy back then. Yeah. They were the number one niggas in the game when they popped out and they had that look and whatnot. That's Diddy's work. Then remember, he's with Heavy D at Uptown. Heavy D puts him on. Biggie becomes Heavy D. And he becomes Father MC. Okay?
No, matter of fact, Red, you forgot. I'm sorry. I used to think Pac was bugging out sometime.
Yeah.
They specifically stole Pac's style with I Get Around. And
made it,
he said it, and I was like,
he was like, we studied the DNA of I Get Around, and then they juxtaposed Juicy video with Biggie in the pool. I'm like, God damn, this is what he does.
Pac was not bugging out, bro.
Yes, but let's also remember Ill and Out Scratch. You can't forget them. How is it that he gets on? Everybody forgets about Jodeci. They forget about Heavy D. They forget about Father MC. They forget about everybody. I mean, everybody becomes whack all of a sudden. What happened? No, they got blackballed when he got on with the bad boy move, and then Biggie becomes Heavy D.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize he was signed to Uptown. They revealed that in the documentary. He's an Uptown artist, bro. Party and bullshit.
Party and bullshit came out on Uptown.
Came out on Uptown on the soundtrack for Who's the Man.
Yeah.
He's on the reggae remixes with Heavy D, his Jamaican brother, who at that time was 100 times hotter than Biggie.
Yeah.
People don't remember this.
Man.
Huh?
Heavy D was the man.
The man.
Yeah, real quick, who was the Jamaican dude that Supercat. Okay, yeah, Supercat. Right. I forgot. Yeah, there's that one. Yeah, I forgot his name. Yeah,
which was the big stamp for to bring him into the dance hall crowd, because that's right around the time when dance hall and rap was going neck and neck.
Yeah,
Supercat caught a body, so Supercat is like a gangster. The main character that I'm glad that got brought up, and
Dolly, my baby.
Yeah. And no, yeah, it needs to be examined is Von Zip.
It's the Harlem element.
The biggest Harlem element. His name, he was at both bodies. He was at Biggie and Pac's body. Like, and then when you get into his history, and then what Homie is about to reveal when they go to trial. So I feel that 50 intention, right? He destroyed P. Diddy's IPO. What does that mean, Red? That Diddy was going to try to go public when he came home and relaunch his stock. Yeah.
So this is the version of when Steve Bannon was emailing Epstein, like, yo, I'm going to help you put your thing together because they got you looking crazy out here.
Right.
That's what Curtis Jackson just did to Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
But why people, this is a culture question. Why do some people appear to be more mad at 50 than what Diddy actually did?
Because he did it so thoroughly, and you know, people don't understand that's his business model. You feel me? He's so back. He's the crocodile from Kemet that eats souls. So, you know, This is the way that he regenerates himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the year of V for vengeance. So, I mean, it is what it is. They just don't understand the dynamics of the jungle of you know, the time that we live in. But his kills are so effective that they just tied at him because he took down a mogul.
Right. And
I mean, you know, he document the fall of a king. It's not like he's responsible for that fall. That's what we bore witness to this year, is this whole energy with the king stuff. That's why they just told you the other day that they're not gonna honor King Day anymore, MLK Day.
Right. They wiped that.
I told you that was the play that happened in the office on January 20th of this year. That was the last executive order. He waved it off. So it's because it's ceremonial. It's a ritualistic secret society killing of the king ritual. You know what I'm saying? And we're watching that take place in society. And the upper layer of it is what's taking place with Trump, because Trump is tethered to 50. They're doppelgangers of one another. Donald Trump is John Gotti and 50 Cent mixed together.
Right. And the upper layer or the upper crust of this whole situation, why the Diddy thing is being dangled, is because the upper echelon is Epstein. He's the upper crust of the whole thing. Release of the emails and the release of the pictures showed that they were using Epstein Island for DNA manipulation and all of it, because he's connected to all of the top people in AI, transhumanism, genetics, and all type of transhumanism, trying to do what? The whole thing about singularity, right? Like Blue has pointed out on many occasions, transgenderism leading into transhumanism. This is a religion and a movement. It involves all of the players that are at play right now. It's just that we don't realize who these players are. We don't know what we're looking at sometimes. But the main character in this whole entire thing is Jeffrey. He ties into, because if you see what the Diddy thing is showing you about how he was utilizing forms of Crowleyism and sex magic and whatnot. Well, what you think Epstein was doing with his with on his island and whatnot? He was doing it on a higher level. Okay, so he was locked in with Bill Gates. He was locked in with MIT scientists. He was locked in with some of the top quote unquote people in the singularity movement, Ray Kurzweil and all of them. And what were they doing? They were accomplishing what is his name? Nick Land and Curtis Yarvin. These are some of the people behind something called the Dark Enlightenment. Go and look it up. And that ties into JD Vance and Peter Thiel. JD Vance is the focus that we have to put our focus on moving forward, because Trump is the one who is bringing in the CEO archetype, and they are collapsing the cathedral right before us. So everything that's taking place is supposed to take place. It is all quote unquote scripted to take place. You don't even know who is a part of central casting at this point. Real talk. You have no idea. And you know what 50 did? 50 did what Trump did, because you're going to see him get a lot of deals. What he did is he sanitized the whole Diddy pipeline. You don't see no powerful people in the documentary. So he didn't give you this is not the record in part one where there's a part two. He sanitized. You mean Diddy was like, let me sanitize my hands. He sanitized everything about the whole Diddy. You didn't see Khaled. You didn't see Hova. You didn't see none of the heavy. You didn't see Mary J. You didn't see no hitters in the way, while he painted this picture of this man and made him look like a monster, and he exonerated so many people. How many phone calls and how many under the table deals do you think 50 did with the way that he thinks, sitting down with J and B saying, you know what, I could put you in a documentary, right? This is where the Trump in him comes into play. I could put you in a documentary, but I do have the footage. But let's talk about what we're going to be doing in the future, so I don't have to put you in this documentary. So he probably brokered a lot of deals with a lot of powerful people, and then he cooked Diddy the way that, man, like Blue said, he didn't add anything extra. He just put it in a sequence. He did not tell you anything Gene Deal didn't say. He did not say anything that Jaguar did. He did not tell you. And matter of fact, they actually said more.
Right. But it was perspective, right? Is how he sequenced it and what perspective he put it in, and the particular atmosphere that we live in right now, where people are looking for a villain. Yep. And he fits the perfect prototype. And he in fact is a monster. He's just a Scorpio though, and he's an unevolved Scorpio, and that shit can be very dangerous, because this is the game of power, and he has been in the pursuit of power and been on top of the power pyramid for 30 plus years. So it has totally went to his mind, his brain, that he is unstoppable, invincible, larger than life, you know what I'm saying, and
unapproachable.
He can move mountains and move worlds, and he has on some Atlas had the world, the proverbial bubble that exists of the culture, you know what I'm saying, for damn near 30 plus years. And he was doing it high as a kite. But that's almost like perfect for what hip hop is and what it represents, because hip hop is Piscean in terms of it being music is Pisces, drugs is Pisces, spirituality is Pisces, the subconscious is Pisces, Hades is Pisces. He personifies the story to the T. I've been said this 2 years ago, of Hades and Persephone. Hades cosmologically is Scorpio, and Persephone cosmologically is Virgo. And that's the story of him and Cassie. And then Capricorn, right? The mother has to come to the underworld and get the daughter and spring her out. And that's what begins spring, because she's trapped into Hades for the winter months. That's why they said that they called him the devil, because his eyes also would turn black. You know what I'm saying?
Frank
That's
Black.
not normal shit. He called himself Frank Black. He's a host for Parasite Possession that is, it might be Shaitan itself. It may be, I mean, that why wouldn't that entity want a front row seat in this power vehicle, right? And he has already crossed the rubrics many times. We know he got bodies on his belt and blood on his. So you don't cross that rubrics. See, we're looking for morality for people who are drillers, spinners, and killers and drug dealers. I mean,
they inverted.
Psychosis is on us as a society. Do you know what people do when they cross those rubrics, my nigga? We obviously don't.
Right.
Because
And
to unimaginable standards, but we have all parted to the bullshit.
and the kinky shit, he was modeling that after New York gangsters. Let's talk about it. They beat their women's ass. They do a lot of kinky shit. We talking about the killers, the Von Zips and them. He was groomed by mobsters, gangsters, Alpo. He was modeling his behavior, his deviancy, his appetite, his prowessness after Alpo. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, he was taking pointers and tips. You know, I remember being in Harlem in 1986 to 1988 on 153rd in St. Nick, and Alpo and them would be wheeling up and down the block going to Rooftop. These are highly impressionable individuals for that age group and that age class. So he was impressed by that. And homie was known to tape his exploits and show them, you know what I'm saying, on the big screen. And I know many sexual deviants that have come after that. And that's what they do. You feel me? They want to bring you in and engage you into this entire party. It's very scorpionic. You know what I'm saying?
And the whole thing about everybody sleeping with each other's girlfriends because they want to sleep behind you to absorb your energy.
Just about to bring that up, man. You read my mind, Red. Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask this since you already answered it. I was just about to say, it's a thing we see again and again where, say I'm popping, I got a girl, I got a wife, a girl, whatever, a side chick, it could be whoever. Niggas know that's my joint. Oh, they coming after her. Especially if I'm popping, I got some motion. They are going, and she could be mid. She could be average,
right?
But they are attacking her. That I had her. I was gonna ask you, Red, and I'm gonna ask you, Red already answered it partially. Are they trying to, people like that? Are they trying to get you? Because they say the male's DNA gets left in the woman. So is this the way unconsciously people use to get your energy through the woman that you sleep with?
Absolutely.
The question would have been better if you didn't answer it, man. But go ahead.
You know, Heaven's Gates, right? Remember, you got Graveyard Box, and then you got Heaven's Gates. So any man that gets put on, you get put on through the gates.
Right.
So the assumption is your success, right, and your glow up is the fact that your ass was in that fountain. Right. And it is extremely homoerotic, but they want to sip from the fountain that you sip from. Henceforth, why a man with a lot of motion, you could come in the joint with a beautiful woman, you're gonna pick up more women, right? Because they're under the assumption that what does he have that she's on, that he got her, right? I need to try that out. I need to find out what he got going on, because god damn it, if I was him, I would want her. And it goes the same way around with these men where they fantasize. Don't let you die. Whew. Oh man,
shit.
Don't let you die lit. Not die when you turn down. Don't let you die at the heights of your littiness. Oh no, they're gonna run her down. The vampires are gonna be on her.
Right. So it's aura harvesting.
Aura harvesting.
You know what I'm saying? It's aura harvesting. And you know, the way that you actually overcome your adversary is you consume their energy. And there's different ways that people do it in battle. That's why, again, like I said, it being scorpionic, we could understand it on both principles. Because just think of scorpionic energy as domination, domineering. At
Right.
war, right? They will eat your heart and drink your blood to
Blood.
dominate and absorb your spirit. Or
Facts.
on so that's Mars from the aspect of war. Then you take Pluto from the aspect of regeneration and transmutation by way of that particular principle dealing with the sexual aspect, right? Where they can aura farm and absorb because now they're in the same room as you. Like he said, if it's heaven's gate, whatever part quadrant of the heavens of the cosmos that you end up in, you are in direct contact. You know what I'm saying? Y'all in the same bullpen, or y'all might be in the same garden, or you might be in, the mansion with many rooms. You feel me? Or you might be in the boxing ring. You know what I'm saying? And people to go about this Romanistic art of domination and being domineering in this society where dog eat dog and what have you, and this New York ethos that there can only be one. So it's just very Romanistic. And and then hyper masculine what puts it on the borderline of femininity because you'll always find those extremes. 50 Cent represents one extreme of hyper masculinity, and P. Diddy represents another extreme of hyper masculinity, where if the masculinity is not firmly established, then the femininity kicks in with the aggressiveness and propensity for violence. Because diplomacy is masculine and anything physical is feminine. Aggressiveness, violence, going straight to war, hot-headedness, that's feminine. And that often is a characteristic that's found in children that are raised in single parent households where they are gleaning or aura farming from their mother about how the conflict resolve. So he wasn't taught these things. He was always taught, once again, as a Scorpio, that materialism, that money, Taurus, which is the opposite of Scorpio, that's how you activate it, right? That's going to solve your problems. Remember, he said, but the mother had to put the warrior Aries aspect of war in him to fight the enemies. And he created a cold-hearted vendetta that I'm going to
Destroy.
Scorpios think different. It's straight, you go straight to homicide. You feel me?
Right. And it could be 10 years later. Like they was like, he will remember all of the slights.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's very scorpionic because his whole thing was about get backs and revenges. And the people that he starved out, the sadomasochist in him, right? He had to see you suffer. That's what gave him his power back from whatever you did to slight him. Even as an artist, if you said no to him, if you was late to a show, you know what I mean? If you didn't sell good, I mean, whatever it was, I don't know, but it's what he was using to reason with, for doing some of the heartless and cold-hearted things. This real business. Remember, he's raised by mobs, gangsters in New York. They are the ones who he's emulating, hustlers and gangsters. So he gets into corporate and he sets up shop the Harlem way or the hustler way, and he runs this shit somewhat like a racket, and he brings all of these street elements into the corporate offices and gives it a whole new look.
I want to ask you, since a lot of this documentary, and even you mentioned Epstein, and we could talk about Epstein or Harvey Weinstein, it centers around sex and people doing a lot of evil things when it comes to sex, and also people engaging in a lot of dark sex magic. And the escort talked about Diddy collecting his semen in the documentary. Why does it appear? I'm trying to think, just looking at things. I always hear about these real dark individuals uses sex magic to gain power and to engage in dark shit. And dark not meaning good. We all come from darkness, but y'all know what I'm saying.
Right.
But it doesn't. I want to ask: does sex magic work different for people who have good intentions? Because I never hear a very successful person who's pure of heart say, hey, I did sex magic, and that's why it's always the dark motherfuckers who seem to come up off of sex magic. But there's a lot of people in the community that talk about sex magic. Motherfuckers, they get nothing done, nothing at all, nothing at all. So
Right.
why does it seem sex magic work for these dark motherfuckers, but it don't work for people who don't have those ill intentions?
Well, keep in mind, right? We're talking about a level of this sex magic that we speak of could be termed as Crowleyism, right?
Right.
Blavatsky,
Right.
Crowleyism. There's been, these are practices, skull and bones type of things. The taboo aspect of going against, right? Doing the taboo and going against these norms, doing things that are considered inverted, right? This is where they're gaining their powers from, right? Transgression. They get power in transgression. So, what is their transgression? They're doing things that are considered to be taboo. They transgress in front of what you would call the Lord, and this is where they are drawing their powers from in the Crowley sex magic sense of things, right? So, the healthy side that I would say that I can identify that people are out here, manifesting and living healthy lives and whatnot. Um, just a case in point, I follow a brother out of Houston, and I interviewed him before. His name is Brick City Buddha and whatnot. And him and his wife, they go on a lot of healing tours. They go on a lot of quote unquote healing retreats and things of that nature. And they're married, and they speak about the fact that they had to go through the dark night of the soul, what they had to overcome and whatnot in order to get where they are. And they speak of, the manifestations that they're able to do now that their hearts are in alignment. They're not calling it sex magic. They're not even centering it around the act of sex. However, they do speak of being able to manifest more when they are intimate as before, when they were not, when they were broken and they needed healing and things of that nature. So yeah, I do think that there are people out here who are disciplined, who are utilizing this practice to bring things about in a positive manner. However, from the likes of a nature boy going all the way to a lot of people in this community that have transgressed in
Polite.
terms, yeah, and Michael Nowak and whatnot, the reckoning, the way that they may have transgressed, and it has become somewhat of a it eclipsed everything else. Is yeah,
Right.
that's the stain.
Again, I was saying that what we're seeing, it coincides with even what we're seeing in the skies. December 19th, 3 hour will be the closest. And this process of the blue star Kachina coming back means it's a process of purification, which means that a reckoning is in order,
Mm.
because the people have to see, where do they stand in this. Like you said, it's an opportunity for us to see ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing anything or hasn't shown us nothing different than pimping 101. And if we have our doors open for that in the culture, if we embrace it but don't know the dynamics of it or choose to ignore it, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not keeping it real. And like he said, the only sin is transgression. The only sin is trespass. So the fact that they are doing this in the face of what's considered to be goodness or God, right? They are pushing the threshold to show you where creation initially comes from. Darkness proceeds light in this terrain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just because these people choose to turn the lights off and pretend that there's no primordial existence here, that does not exclude the fact that you have to go into darkness to find life. And ultimately, to find the light, it comes out of darkness. So, because the society has set up this concept that dark is bad because they have to castigate the class or the caste of black,
Mm-hmm.
is forced to go underground, is forced to be taboo, is forced to be in places where we have not fought for it to be free. We have not gone through a sexual freedom rebellion the way Europeans even have in the 60s. Our people did not experience it. The only symbol they got of experience it was during the crack era. Right? The minute women came across them things, then they start. That was our expression of what a free era looked like, and a lot of young men got introduced to quote unquote through the means, through getting head from a bopper, and then now you got standards going forward, and y'all running down on school for light skin Keisha, but this is what you bring into the table. This is what you initiate, and this is fraternity that you bring her into, and then you take that whole culture on, where you going with you around the country, and just the energy that comes with the mentality of where somebody has to be as a hustler, dealing with rugged individualism. You know what I'm saying? These are now the people that are representing us that are going around the country that now have become the idols and the symbols and the role models in our community. And when you tap into a Diddy, when you tap into you tap into all of the energy that you see in the front and the one that you don't see in the back, because you can look at his back and see he got the
Oh, I'm glad you said. What's this right here?
Is that Urzul?
Yeah,
who's that on his back?
Urzuli.
I believe that's Urzuli, the deity that they used to defeat the French.
But deity specifically speaks to the protection of abused women.
Right.
She governs children as well. You know what I'm saying? She's the protectorate of those things. So immediately when he started getting into hot water, the forums and the African traditional and spiritual communities broke out and said that was that deity on his back.
Right.
Y'all into the symbols a lot. What's because there was a lot of talk about the pendant, the chain. Does any of y'all know what that represents? I've been hearing all types of TikTok conspiracy theories about that pendant.
Yeah,
do y'all know anything?
It looks like an alchemy sign. I don't know which one specific, but it looks like an alchemical sign.
Right. Okay, just curious. I seen like 5 different TikTok videos talking
I haven't
about it.
come across any yet. You know what I'm saying? But what did they say?
Somebody said it come from Harry Potter, the Hollow, some shit with magical shit. Dealing with magical occult level shit.
I mean, the new word is warlock. That's the new word that everybody's throwing around. That's the new.
Bidel broke it down. Okay.
The warlock. Yeah, Bidel broke it down. He's the warlock. People are being introduced to the witches and the warlocks. Pimps are warlocks too, ladies and gentlemen. Prostitutes are witches, ladies and gentlemen. They're utilizing some of the same tenets that if this disgusts you, you should be disgusted by everybody that was a pimp, unless they atone. You should be disgusted by sex workers because they're out here doing the same thing that Diddy's in jail for right now. You should be disgusted by the rappers telling daughters and sons to get into things like that, sex working and stuff like that. We should question why our children are champion rappers who are tied to 19 bodies and whatnot. Why is this rapper becoming the next superstar that the children have to emulate? And he's tied to 19 murders. But there's nothing wrong with that though. There's no alarm about that. Let's let them rack up them bodies.
The hypocrisy.
Blue, real quick. They said I didn't let you finish the tattoo explanation. I'm sorry. What was you was about to go in on the tattoo on his back?
Yes, she's a deity that represents the protection of women, but specifically the protection of abused women. You know what I'm saying? And in the pantheon of the particular deity that she represents, because there's different personifications of this particular deity, in that particular pantheon is over, children and abused women and things of that nature. And it would just be the wrong deity to have consecrated on your flesh if you're doing something that's totally contrary, you know what I'm saying, to what this deity stands for. So people couldn't understand the bravery of that. You know
why, Blue? I'm gonna tell you why. We don't have a thorough understanding of narcissist. Why would he call himself Brother Love? All the evil that it's the same concept.
Right.
I'm gonna do all this evil, so I'm gonna call myself love.
Right.
Narcissist. The word projection. You start projecting insecurities or things that you wish you were, but that you're truly not. So Diddy does a lot of projecting his insecurities or whatever it may be. So yeah, why would he call himself love? Why would he have that tattoo? And he's the complete opposite.
But yeah, you're right, because like I said, even with the inversion, they want to thumb in the face of God to say, I am violating your precious things. What are you doing? Oh, nothing. So you must not exist. We got the strength.
Right.
God is dead.
They'll become priests.
So
They'll become cardinals. They'll become men cloaked in the robe and whatnot. They'll become all of these things, but it's a crypto cover because they're utilizing inversion, right? They're utilizing inversion. I saw a video the other day that a woman made where she was explaining how doctors are cops, right? How capitalism created it made the body a commodity, right? The capitalism, which Nick Land, and we're gonna get into this Nick Land character. We're gonna talk about some things about this whole dark enlightenment moving forward. But Nick Land, he says that capitalism is artificial intelligence. It's an organism. It's an entity. And the first thing that they did was they insured the body, right? And when they insured the body, that was like the birth of capitalism, right? It's an entity that feeds off of the body, the carcasses, the similar to what they're showing you in Stranger Things with the mind flayer, how it takes over people's bodies and whatnot. So the fact that the body is a commodity, the fact that the body is actually a business, right? The doctors are hired to police the property. Henceforth, while they report anything that you do to your property, which is your body, they are in charge of all aspects of the body and whatnot. And that is one of the reasons why Black women are at danger, are in most danger in the company of these cops, okay? Because they're carrying out all type of drills for the state, unbeknownst to people who are signing up their health and their lives and their safety to these people.
Right. Real quick question. Do you think this documentary will start a trend? I noticed when the Diddy thing first went down, a couple of people try to rush and put out documentaries on Diddy, but it's like the culture waited for 50s to come out and then watch 50. Do you think this is a sign that somebody within the culture has to give the okay or release something for it to be successful? Do you think this might be a trend of that right there?
This was a very unique situation. He is a self-avowed foe of Diddy.
Right.
He is the mother of his children popped up in the trial. So people ultimately and Diddy is stamped in the film world. Remember, he could not take over in the music realm because that's where Diddy kind of was sitting at that. He was blackballing him. He had a lot more power. So he went into another
Diddy was blackballing 50?
Of course. What do you think? So he goes into another niche, which is in filming and production. And this now becomes his home. This is now his house. So he beat him in a medium that he was more in control of, which would be in the film production niche and whatnot, or medium. So yeah, 50's name holds weight now in that medium. So if he puts out a documentary, that documentary is law. As opposed to other people, the stamp of his name alone is gonna make it go out the window. So yeah.
Just to double down on that, this is the importance of a brand. This is the importance of a brand, and this is the importance of brand partnership. You feel me? Because we don't even know who the director is, but she was able to align her brand with his brand, and his brand represents authenticity. His brand represents trust, and his brand represents a particular brand of realness, that this is somebody that's willing to stand on what they believe, even at the threat of quote unquote shots. So, oh, even the fact that he's willing to stand up to this other melanated man as a billionaire, as a mogul, and we are literally watching a billion turn to a pillar of salt, and the billionaire along with it. You feel me? And the queen's native has taken over the king of the city. You know what I mean? The inheritor of the throne and the crown from, you know, dude that he brought, you know what I'm saying, to the West Coast to get laid down for having something to do with homie from I Get Around. You feel me? I mean, unprecedented expose, like I said, of somebody who just has had so much input on, you know, masterminding, manipulating, getting their way, and weaving reality, you know, along the way with them.
Yo.
Real quick, Red. Let me, because I definitely first let me comment on the last thing you said, Red, because I seen your show before you did this show. Brilliant show. I would advise everybody to check out Red's show before this show. But there was one thing you said that was absolutely insane, and you said that Hove. What you said about Hove? Hove was Diddy's clone. You said Hove was Diddy's clone, and I said when I do the show with Red, because you know we hip hop heads here, so we spit out quotables. I gotta remind you, Red, when Puff was in that tub with that spilling bowl, I was on my speedboat. No.
That was the same comments on this.
Yeah, with Chris, I was Chris on the speedboat.
Yeah.
St. Thomas, my nigga, that was me first. Me first. This is Hove.
I know, talking that talk.
This is Hove, nigga.
Yeah,
No, he didn't. No, that's not Diddy's clone. No, stop it. No, don't talk about Hove like that, bro.
All right, so check this out.
This is hip hop.
I know, but just name alone. You know, we were once again, if we all go to the movie and the movie starts and you coming into the movie and an hour into the movie, you're not main character. So Puff name was ringing before Jay-Z. That's a fact. With all of that, you was on a speedboat. He was already him. And at that point, his name
said that about Sonetta and me. Sonetta was popping when the king of this shit when I came into the scene. So that don't mean that, you know, I'm a clone of his, or even though y'all might say that. Blue, like, you sure about that?
Never said clone, but he put you on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, the Rockefeller had to take the Bad Boy blueprint because that was the blueprint that was on the table when they got into the game. They were trying to get signed and they already had Big Mac was already out. The blueprint was already written. The wave that they created when they popped out with Craig Mack and Biggie with Juicy with the whole Big Mac thing. They created that wave and then turned back. I remember I was at Rutgers and they were giving out Big Mac, the promo thing. It was up from that point on.
Right. Jay couldn't find a way in until Big transition.
Facts.
It was an ironclad. Remember, I was the first one, rest in peace to Poop Man. We was the first one to book Jay-Z to do a show in Brooklyn for Reasonable Doubt. Right. That was he performed at that show. He performed 21 Quest, the 21 and
22
whatever that shit, not 22 tunes. He's like, Wendy Williams harassing me, steady asking him up to rap on that song. He did Imaginary Players at that event too. He performed like 3 or 4 new songs off of the new album at our event. And why was we the first ones to book him in Brooklyn? You know what I'm saying? So he had a very like niche audience could even understood the Willie talk. Like everybody didn't understand that right away. It was too complicated. Big was more relatable. He was talking people's language. And He had a machine behind him, a certified one, and he had this dude that was already a celebrity named Sean Combs, who was infamous in the city of New York and abroad for not only city college, but also for
Parties.
coming out of that as a Scorpio, like a phoenix, being born again and creating an entire cultural wave with R&B, hip hop fused music that took the. I mean, it was the culture.
That's how they forgave him. He he he,
Jodeci,
he exonerated himself with
Mary J.
music.
Blige was the wave.
She was the wave, y'all. I promise you. They don't. I haven't seen something come like that in R&B.
Yeah, if you were A&R, if you were a label and you like, yo, we have the young women of Black America. I mean, it's sky's the limit from there. And this dude delivered that as an intern. So
As an intern.
yeah, he
The
had
411 album with Pooba on it. The 41, what's the 41? Do you know what that has Shorty's doing? That was a coming of age album, bro. And yeah, his fingerprints are very much all over a lot of things. So, you know, like it or love it, hate it or love it, you know what I mean? That he is a cultural architect. So as he falls, as he loses his quote unquote footing, as he is, you know, taken down, things are gonna move around. They have to.
I think I've asked y'all this before, just from a a hip hop point of view. Has anybody had a run like Puff? Went back, nobody. Okay, all right. Just Red. Do you agree with that or you disagree?
Quincy Jones.
No, I'm talking about after Puff, not Quincy, not.
Anybody after Puff with a run like that?
Yeah, that run that Bad Boy had. Rockefeller. Anybody that.
Somebody in the audience would be like, Cash Money.
Cash Money. What you think?
What you think, Blue?
no, because they had a definitive run. Again, it was a blanket. It was nothing else moving. They had radio play and they had album sales. You feel me? And they had the culture. And it was uncontested. I don't think nobody has competed to that level. There's been no consistency. There's no blankets, and there's nobody moving culture. There's nobody bringing an atmosphere with them. These people brought their atmosphere with them. They brought their green screen everywhere they went.
Right. That post Biggie, Hype Williams, Shiny Suit era, where all of them videos where Mace was a movie, and then the Victory video, and then that Puffy video run with Hype Williams.
We're still in a Biggie video set. We still exist in it.
Yeah, like what has really changed since the 90s video era? The Vixens, they just had this thing with the Vixens. I'm like, I'm looking at, I'm like, what has changed? It's go ahead.
No, go ahead and I'll finish with
the Vixens have evolved.
Mm.
But we
what
didn't know what the word Vixen meant before that, huh?
What do you mean the Vixens evolved? What do you mean the Vixens evolved?
They the baddies now.
Okay.
They the IG, they OF models and stuff. Yeah, there's an evolution of what they call the Vixens, but that whole pot of women, like we didn't see a collection of women who were like, you know, magazine cover models, and you feel me? You had scattered Buffy the Body and stuff like that, but the Vixen era. That's all from that all comes out of that Bad Boy era. That's Hype Williams and all of them. You know, so yeah, I don't know about another run other than that. You know what I'm saying? I really don't.
Indeed. You know, one thing, you know, we was talking about the whole, because the whole documentary is pretty much centered around sex. One thing that that was interesting in an interview I seen recently, you know, it's learning lessons. When we watch this, one thing you actually, your mother said was that, you know, when you're sleeping around like that, you're out there ping ponging parasites. And I was like, that's a quotable. She said they out there ping ponging parasites. She even talked about polygamy. She even got on polygamy a little bit. She was like, you know, you're ping ponging parasites. So I think that was a very clever way to describe what possibly might be going on out there that we should be aware of. It's something that, we talk about a lot on this show, about success, and just, I don't want to just talk about financial success, but just peace of mind, being mindful of who you're sleeping with. And I think that was a clever way of describing it.
Somebody asked that Bad Boy run soft nigga era. Diddy was the one who he did what? He created a new lexicon. He gave you PhD, which is a player hater degree. That shifted a lot of things, right? In terms of people being called player hater when you could check people before that and nobody had a word to kind of defend that. They just had to take it. Mm-hmm. But he also brought in metrosexuality. Metrosexual is a Diddy term. It is a lifestyle, something that Drake and them ran with. Henceforth, where I saw somebody the other day with black fingernail polish, and it was almost like a norm, right? Metrosexual, people getting their eyebrows shaped up. No offense to the Dominicans in the audience, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They go to the barber shop and you see them getting, you like, nigga, I thought you was getting a shape up, nigga. Nigga get his eyebrows.
No, papi, we get the eyebrow. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I grew up around the kids, so I see it all the time, bro.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like all of the super sexy shit that and this is no offense, Harlem.
Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go.
I'm just saying the overtly fly shit. The mink, remember the mink shape ups? We didn't have to do the mink shape ups. We didn't have to do the mink froze, Rich.
And niggas getting the Manny and the Petty.
Manny and the Petty, Rich. Come on, fam. Like that was the Diddy shit, bro.
They had
about, and it started with that, and then of course it devolved and mutated into what we see now. But metrosexual as a term opened up some sort of Pandora's box that was kind of closed when you had these long t-shirt, uber hyper masculine aesthetics and whatnot in hip hop. So yeah, he kind of opened that up.
You know how we talk often, we're all into mythology and we study the Egyptian or the Sumerian or different cultures. And I've heard Blue say on numerous occasions that we are all playing out these gods that we read about. These archetypes get played out over and over and over and over again. So I want to ask you, because I've seen people make references to Diddy earlier in the chat. And I think even Blue made a comment about who he might represent. Who do you think 50 Cent, somebody that's been through as resilient as, that an incredible story. What ancient God, when you study them ancient mythology, would 50, you'd be like, 50 got that energy.
Trickster God.
Right. And I said it earlier, Sobek.
You said that about Diddy.
No, Diddy is not Sobek.
50 was Sobek.
Oh,
50 I've always referred to 50 as Sobek.
Okay.
Always been the eater of souls.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Jah is Yah. You know what I'm saying? Jah is Yah. He ate that.
Right.
He's the eater, devourer, and the eater of souls. If you fall into that pit, he's gonna ravish you. Diddy fell into the pit, and he ravished him. And the pit that Diddy fell into, Diddy is the personification, the motif, and the archetype of the devil or Hades. You know what I'm saying? That's
Diddy?
Yes.
Hades? Okay.
That's what the Scorpio is.
Right.
That's who he's been called. That's what his personification is. He's crossed over and he's just showing you what this shit is hitting for. And people, this is just like the president. The people can't deal with what's being shown to them. Just like Epstein. What you gonna do when it's shown to you? It's like people is going through all of this for what? Like, what are they possibly gonna do? They still have to arrive to the point that we already telling them, yo, these dudes is dealing with deviance. When you pull back the curtain, all of them, a whole lot of them, and it's just macro, but it's all honeypots. Who's running the minor operation for the little niggas, the rooks on the pawns and the rooks on the board? Because the power dynamic only goes so high in our society because the bread only touches like one billy. And then you got them other niggas that's 50 and 100 to a T.
To a trilly.
To a trilly. How do you snag that? You need somebody whose lasso is just a little bit different. So you see, it's a different pecking order. They all in the same neighborhood. They all go to the same parties. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
You got this part and you got that part, and then they all got an overlord that pays their bills and pays their checks. So you know who we talk about? The real estate agents.
Because I saw somebody say when is 50 Cent doing the Dr. Dre reckoning? You feel me?
It's not in his wheelbarrow to do that. You know, and then also there's a cosmological connection as well, because Diddy and 50 has an aspect where I think he's a Scorpio rising, right? But there's literally a cosmological alignment that once observed speaks specifically to why they're having this engagement and this interaction. They mud wrestling, but it's a cosmic war. 50 also will represent a Saw, the hunter. He will represent Orion during this particular time. You know what I'm saying? We're literally dealing also with the killing of the king motif during this time, because we are in Scorpio / Sagittarius, and that deals with what they put the arrow in the sun, and the sun has to set, right? That's what the whole aspect of going through the 3 months of winter, or Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces is. You have to sink the king, you have to kill the sun. We're seeing that. You know what I'm saying? We even seen it in our community where somebody's son got sunk and hit by the arrow and stung in Sagittarius season. That happens to be a Leo. So it's the motifs are always going to be there to personify the time and then you get the echoes. You feel me? Because once again, this is about reckoning. Big Mama finna be here leading up around December 19th to the 25th, when that 3-year atlas, whatever it's gonna give, it's gonna give.
Right.
You feel me? And I think that it's gonna reach us by way of waters. That's another thing I wanted to share that I didn't get a chance to on the last show, that has been shown to me in a vision and in my research and studies. What if it start raining and it don't stop? Because the last thing that I was told and that I said on that mountains, I said, oh, wait, what it said? Oh, build like Noah, and build like in the times of Noah, because the flood is coming. That's what the download said to me, and I shared. And then the floods came 6 days later, and then it didn't stop coming. And then people had the nerve once again to be like, but Atlantis had water. Yeah, the water's here. Right? With that vehicle that showed up 2 days later with 1 billion gallons of water on it. Right? So again, we also don't allow it, and this is dealing with a water sign. This is dealing with the deep waters, though, the subconscious, the thing that people have pushed into their psyche that they're not dealing with. And the weight of Black America, the weight of the majority of melanated America, is the suppression of the abuse. We have been engaging and dealing with and surrounded by serial abusers most of our life, and we've normalized it. You know what I'm saying? And the weight of that is going to hold us back if there is an ascension protocol coming forward. You feel me? We are in Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer. Pluto is this aspect of sexual immorality and sexual deviancy. Melanated people are impacted in their sacral root chakra primarily because their introduction to procreation, to the portal of creation, was through violation. So this is people's reckoning, to look at this as a mirror. We cannot be holier than thou, and we can't be mad at Puff for dragging his nuts. He went for his. This is his manifestation of him desiring what he wanted and showing you that he can manifest, utilizing the available latent creative sexual energy. My nigga, what are you getting out of the nuts that you busting?
Wow. What are you getting out of the nuts that you are busting? What a question.
How many bikes does it take?
I mean, they have invited us into this conversation. And I said this 2 years ago. I was like, yo, everything in the news is dealing with phallus. They are initiating people into the bedroom that they'll never get out of. And now we're here because of this Epstein situation where it will dominate this entire presidency. So we are locked. We have been initiated as a society and don't even know it. I recommend that y'all get this book, though. Right? This is one of the ones. Secret Society and Psychological Warfare is a 3-step process. And the last process is coagulation. Coagulation by transmutation. So they're doing a universal ritual, bringing people in and initiating everyone in what's supposed to be. The secret is now an open secret. And then what they're going to hit you with layer next is the videos.
Right. Because
hold on, they keep talking about the Epstein files, but what about the Diddy files?
Right. And
you know why? Just let me just put this last piece in, because they're going for the long game. This is something that's going to impact your children and our children's children, because they're going to be doing drip releases for this for the next 30 years. Right? The insinuation is that there was alleged criminal activities that were taking place. So if those files were in possession of someone, was there any uses of where people were passed out? You heard what they said about Aubrey, right?
Yeah.
So all of them other situations, and he got people that are coming in from these alleged positions of power, and these people will be used as pawns politically when elections come up, because these are the people who shill for the Dems.
Right, because you know that the fix is in, because they got all of the footage and charged them with what they charged them with.
Right.
So what's that signaling? That we're sitting on all of this blackmail now, and whoever's on these tapes, we about to cook y'all and work y'all. Y'all about to work for us. You feel me? But I just wanted to point out something that we had brought up before, and this is a perfect example of what it is that we're seeing, because Blue brought it up, and it reminded me. Remember what we said before, what this society is about: the public face, the private face, and the secret face, right? That's what the CIA operative who does podcasts, he said that's their main thing. It's about the public face, right? Sean John, family man, lover man, great talented producer, entrepreneur, producer, spirit man, has his own cologne, man's man, you know what I mean? You know, key to the city, private face, right? He has kinks and whatnot, right? He likes to do certain things. He has kinks, right? Something that is on the rise in America, when you do the stats and when you look at the stats of the adult entertainment traffic and whatnot, they'll report that there's been spikes over the past 10 years and new forms of kink and whatnot. So it went from regular kink 10 years ago to the point where it is it's some Adrian, what's homegirl from Wicked? What's your girl name? You got Shorty with the long nails, right?
Yeah. So
Cynthia and Vinio. What?
So as a reporter, I just come across the craziest news at times. So y'all want to know what the number one kink is for the year?
What?
Pit kink.
What's that?
Pit kink.
Pit?
Yeah, like pits, armpits.
Oh,
anywhere that a pit is considered to be on the body,
right.
That level. Oh my, you got babies in the room.
Yeah, she can't hear, but she doesn't. They don't. Gotta watch your leg, your mouth, right?
Go. Armpits around the babies, man. What's going on over here? What's going on over here? Yeah, like that shit.
But Blue, that. Oh, give me 1 second. I apologize, family.
Nah, you good, brother.
Close that door, Shannon. Close that door. Blue, you gotta explain this one. I couldn't. You said a pit, then you went like this.
Take the baby out the room. Close the door.
Doors closed.
Tell me about these pits, nigga.
Tell me about the Blue. What are you watching, my brother? What are you and Blue Dream watching when y'all done that pits? What you and your girl doing out there, man? Blue, what's going to explain?
Mark Pitts.
Please, Blue, I gotta hear this. This is
like I said, according to the news,
yes,
they
sir.
said that according to their analytics, the number one fetish of what you call it, people that are infatuated with different pits, like armpits,
Right?
and things of that nature. And
Are they other pits? I just want to know for a friend.
I don't. You will have to use your own imagination.
I'm gonna need you to find that for us, because you brought the story to us. Can you bring us all of the pits, please?
I would do that, but for now, yeah, like armpits, a neck pit. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Shit, and I, look, they just got different kinks, and they got different shit that they into, and
Pulpit
trying to explain it is like
it's crazy, right?
it is. Yeah, I'm not part of that world. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole per se, but
So the key word, Blue and Rich, is proclivities, right? The key word is proclivities. It's been proven. Well, the word, I think the word of the year, one of the words of the year is rage bait, right? That's one of the words of the years for 2025. So rage baiting, right? Some of the things that you see the far right in them doing, there's nothing that goes more viral than rage baiting. However, right behind that is proclivities, and proclivities is people exposing their private life on the internet. If you if you have a monetized channel, you want to go up, and you don't care about shame and whatnot. Well, proclivities are a very sticky type of thing. And who's one of the people that I could use as an example? An artist who started out the year infrared hot, but has cooled off to the point where she might turn into a fossil, Sexy Red. She was sharing her proclivities with the world. Cardi B, on the other hand, she's popping right now because her proclivities with Stefan, the football dude, her proclivities are on display. What she's into. She's a married woman then she had a child. You know what I mean? All of that secret, private, that's salacious. People are into stuff like that. You know what I mean? They want to know your proclivity. What are you doing behind closed doors, sweetie? What are you doing when nobody is looking? Whole rapper,
even
baddie.
The Epstein and everybody on the list, and everyone else in power.
Right.
Mike Johnson, JD Vance, everybody wants to know about everybody's private and secret life.
Right. Everybody wants to get into
hell. No one is looking at the substance of what these people represent and the things that they are standing on, where that exists. They like, nah, let me go behind the curtain and see what you really into, who you really are. Easy to blockchain and a black captain and son, like where you from? I want to see. He's showing birth.
You want to hit a T.
Yeah, he's showing birth certificates and they saying that those hospitals don't birth people there. Like, is this? Did they make your whole story up? Are you an alien? Like, these are the times that we're in, and I don't see any reversal anytime soon. And like think about like with those goggles. Think about how permeating people's privacy is even going to become more prominent as
right. Nvidia, I want to add this. Nvidia as a company has broken records this year in terms of how much money that they've been able to garner, right? They are in second place by light years to OnlyFans, which is the most profitable company by employee in the world right now. And what do I mean by that?
What?
By
OnlyFans? Yo, serious?
OnlyFans has left Nvidia in the dust.
Nvidia?
10x.
Nah, son.
Red, where's your receipts at, brother?
I got them. If I could share the screen and I could show you.
Come on,
OnlyFans as a company is the number one company in the world.
I didn't hear that on EYL. I didn't hear that on EYL.
Yeah, EYL. Yo, Rashad, back me up. Yo, Ian, take your glasses off.
EYL did not verify that.
Yo, what he?
That is not EYL verified.
Family, give me yo, Ian, give me Troy, give me a fact check.
OnlyFans stock is not part of nobody's ETF.
OnlyFans per employee is the most money-making company on the planet, and they are leaving Nvidia in the dust.
Wow, that's crazy.
Each one of their employees are multi-millionaires just based off of their business model. Look, and OnlyFans. I need more. Where's my fact checkers at? Because I know we got them in the chat. I don't want to
in the chat. Any fact checkers in the chat?
And before we go on a shaming campaign and start throwing people under the bus, the word is proclivities, ladies and gentlemen. Proclivities. That's voyeurism. That's what's running things right now. That's what people are into. They want to know the private and the secret. And what is OF? That's the private. And the dark web is the secret. You can see people catch bodies on the dark web. Okay. So that's where we are. So the Instagram is the public. That's what you show your face. OF and all of them other sites with freaky deaky stuff, that's the private. And then the secret life, the shit that will make you throw up, the real heinous stuff, that's the dark web. That's the onion router. So what are we talking about? That's how this thing is layered and whatnot. So tell them stop playing in your face. Tell people stop with the fake outrage and stop wasting our time and stop distracting us, because they playing games with grown people with some of this baby shit that we're going through. It's baby stuff. It's just baby talk. However, we could unpack it and break it down, but it's so much heavier things going on that I would want to put my energy into.
Yo, do y'all personally think, like, say y'all was lawmakers and y'all had to, y'all was in Congress or something, would y'all ban pornography? Do you think that's something that should be banned? No?
I would just invent a form of gloves and mittens where you can't touch a joint.
No. I'm being for real.
You will repel it.
I'll be.
I would. You would have to put on mittens. You can't.
I don't need to see the visuals, man. Come on.
Not the visuals. Banishing corn. I would probably undertake something to that degree. I would probably. It would be a huge undertaking. But I would think that I would try my best to undertake something like that. I don't know how it would happen. However, why not? You know what I mean? It will be something that it doesn't have to be so readily available. Let's put it behind some type of gates and walls and whatnot. It is a form of the blob. Because it was created in it's been created with women being RA'd and whatnot. It has Diddy energy all over it. Like, if anybody ever goes down the rabbit hole of that big lawsuit that came out a few years ago against MindGeek, then you'll realize what I'm speaking of. So if people are watching women who are basically, they're watching Diddy tapes, right? Because the first lady, one of his first victims described what happened to her. And that's the same type of thing that happened on Pornhub with young women that were being drugged and whatnot by these amateur pimps, and they were putting the footage on the networks, right? And people were consuming RA. So yeah, all of these sites like X and all of them, they have to get cleaned up. The debauchery cannot go on forever, because what we're speaking about is when you dehumanize and when you desensitize and when you hypersexualize, it's hard to reverse that curse. Right? That is like a parasite. So, you niggas we gotta do a mass Iboga ritual and get up, you know what I mean? And try to get away from that, because that is a succubus energy. It is part of the inversion, is part of Satanism, and it's also part of the synagogue of Satan, because they put that whole thing together. That's their machine. And they was getting ran up out of countries for doing these rituals. Those are rituals. You
Blue,
know,
your answer to that question, you was on
I, I
the
don't condone censorship in any form. And again, to address the effect and not the cause is not really bringing change. So again, deviancy exists at a very high extreme, not just in the country but in the world. And what we're not expressing is, or what we're not addressing, is that if 7 or 8 or 10 of the women that we have met in our lifetime have been abused to
abuse.
some
Right.
degree, it's a lot of dirty niggas that exist. So it's a lot of crazy things that's taking place, and for you to keep them out of off of the internet is not going to stop happening per se. It will proliferate in another space, in another place.
Show up. It was
they
suppressed.
they have sites that now have barriers of entry. You got a KYC, they got to know their customers, so you got to prove your age and put your license. It takes a lot. If a nigga's willing to go through that and you want to see some smut, then go at it, because that shit might be your therapy. It might help you with your PTSD. Um, we're too far gone. We are across the rubric on the other side to start playing the game of morality for the sake of censorship. If we really knew what these people were about, then we would handle our business. If protecting women and children is really what we're about, then we will go all out. We have to. Then we're against wickedness. We would be on a 24/7 vigilante spree, getting busy, maybe doing our divine creed. Maybe that's what we came here to do, and not just kick back in the face of this and act like we don't see it or it don't exist. Right?
right,
These women and children are not safe. Why pretend that they are?
right.
But addressing it from a place of the internet, you got to explain first why these are business models that are outpacing any other business model. So that desire, that necessity, and that expression of trauma, because once again they were initiated into sexuality maybe from the womb. Like I heard somebody from Memphis say yesterday on a podcast. He's like, "Yo, any child born after Cash Money's taken over the 99 and 2000 is shot." Like you almost dealing with literally a throwaway generation, and not to turn our backs or forget about the babies, but we're not being real with what they were initiated into. They heard this music from the womb to the car seat to school. So in their minds, they was already initiated into the process and procedure that goes along with pimpology. You feel me? Fully. And then their parents are partying to it. Their subconscious can't shut this down and say this is not what reality is. They model behavior. All children are programmable and moldable. So if we don't, ask a child that grew up in Memphis, ask a child that grew up in Oakland, ask a child that grew up in Chicago, ask a child that pimping is only thing that they knew. They only seen their mama getting whooped on, right? They either gonna go one or two ways. They're gonna be the staunchest advocates to say, I can't have this for women because I seen it for my mama, or they're gonna express that pain through replicating and duplicating it.
Right. I was told about the whole Memphis thing and their ties to, sex work and whatnot, how that was become a norm, how that was normalized out there, and
Right.
how that's kind of like, part of the culture. Um, you know, uh this is a conversation that I would love to have with a panel of both genders. This is a very, very serious conversation, and it stems around hypersexualization and dopamine addiction, along with the overindulgence of, just stimuli addiction, how people are dealing with stress by going to stimulate themselves through dopamine release and whatnot. So yeah, I do agree with you, Blue. That is more of a mature way of looking at it. I really do feel like going to the root problem. The root problem is hypersexualization, overstimuli, and whatnot. I don't really know how to, like you said, we're so far gone. When you see certain things, I don't know how to unsee certain things.
However, I do know that when you remove something, you create what will be suppression, and suppression of sexual energy actually is very dangerous. It had, look at Nick, look at Nick Fuentes and the incels and whatnot. Look at the groypers. You feel me? You cannot suppress such a powerful energy like that. You cannot, quote unquote, hide, and we have to get away from taboo-ness. We have to get away from the shame, because when they encountered us on these islands that we lived on, when they encountered us in our proper persona and whatnot, we were not ashamed to be naked and whatnot. We were not walking around ashamed of our flesh. We were not, quote unquote, they said that we were sexualized, but we weren't necessarily hypersexualized, like not what you see going on with sex tourism in the islands right now, where it's being, quote unquote, these people are utilizing that, the colonizers are utilizing that in a negative sense. We were not utilized. We had beautiful bodies. We were not ashamed of our bodies. We were not hiding our bodies. Henceforth, carnival season, which you see taking place in the Caribbean, which you see taking place in the quote unquote islands in South America and things of that nature.
Yeah. like somebody said in the chat, we were naked but not perverted, right?
There you go.
You have to understand that indigenous culture represented high civilization in all places, because you were literally looking at the mastering of arts and science. Some of it expressed itself through architecture. A lot of it expressed itself through tradition, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes by way of religion, but a discipline factor. So people were very much disciplined with their sexual faculties, because they understood the power of it and they were able to transmute it in other ways. So you can see it come out in architecture. They're showing you the perfect balance of right in the hemisphere, why these people would not be overly expressive and and necessarily sexual engagement. You never really heard that about our people. They might have put stigma and said primitive people, but that was never our legacy, certain places. Not like we see it today, because this is a byproduct of the suppression of sexuality by the oppression of religion, right? Which deals with the total suppression of the divine feminine.
Shame.
And yet, this is an outward expression of domination, of hyper masculinity dominating female,
The divine feminine.
whether it's soft era, you feel me, or whether it's gorilla hard pimping, you know what I'm saying? It's subjugation of that vessel to say we're going to particular we're going to domineer it for whatever our purposes are. We're going to pimp it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to run it up. We're going to abuse it. You feel me? We're going to dominate it. We're just going to step on it. We're going to suppress it. Because this is what society is telling us. This is what religion is telling us. So the groiper is an outgrowth psychosis where they say, I'm pure, I don't touch her, but they're hiding the fact that they got Tinder profiles and things of that nature.
Tinder.
And Grinder or whatever that is. And it doesn't just express itself through deviance. They're into the extra freaky stuff. They want the trans, you know what I'm saying? So they go into the deeper crevices of where they're showing you reptilian suppression is doing things to these young men, where they are being hosted by an energy, like Sun said, that is prepping them. Ultimately, these will be the foot soldiers usher in transhumanism. You know what I'm saying? That don't have no problem bringing on silicone, because they don't want the flesh of carbon. They don't desire that. They want sulfur, they want silicone and not carbon. They've perfectly been primed for this time to switch over to this Aquarian age, because Aquarian's technology. And this, we're just watching it. We're just in the midst of it. We're in the wish and the wash of it. And it's amazing that we have these topics to bear witness to and have these conversations around them. But in essence, this is what we're looking at, y'all.
Indeed. Let me put up a comment somebody made because it's going to go into a question that I have. Shout out to Sharif. Sharif Bey. Also, he was in the chat
Peace to the God.
earlier. Red and Blue was talking. I didn't get a chance to say nothing, but shout out to you, Sharif. I got to give you a call.
Right. Somebody said, can I just answer real
Yes,
quick?
yes,
I just saw a comment. Somebody said, what about Buddha monks?
yeah.
Again, there's a purposeful transmutation of that sexual energy because they learn breathing techniques, in particular, locking the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth to create a circuit. So now that energy that becomes an overswell in the lower regions and the coccyx lower regions, you can now send that up to your crown and create a microcosmic orbit. And now you are refining, right? That energy that travels up that spinal column that can create universes and bust atoms in half. And now that is becoming your essence for you, your aura, for you to become, what they call today about having the aura. And people who have participated in semen retention, they can attest to this. Go through after certain periods, like 90 days in, and you get that Superman glow. You know what I'm saying? And you are microchip. Anything that you think of, everything is just operating in the way that it's supposed to fall in place.
Facts.
So that energy that we're speaking of, that creative energy, when properly mined, when being intentional, circulating, rotating it, and it not becoming plutonium by swelling up one place and not being moved. You know what I'm saying? These are we have access to the energy, but we don't have access necessarily to the distinct methodologies that we used in past times to master or ride the dragon, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Put your dragon on a leash to walk your dragon,
Right.
getting burnt up by it.
Mm.
This is the whole premise behind self-mastery, which the monks are, this is what they are aspiring to accomplish.
Mhm.
Ra Unefa came on the show and he spoke about achieving spiritual greatness or enlightenment through suffrage, right? He was speaking of alchemizing suffering, right? How people go through what they call suffrage in order to achieve enlightenment. So when you see these monks sitting in the lotus position, right? And you know it's giving them some type of quote unquote pain and whatnot. You know that this is an uncomfortable position that you may see them in. They are in their minds going through breathing exercises, right? And mentally doing away with the pain, going through the suffrage, burning up the karma, right? Going through those motions, right? But they have they're being rewarded for doing what? For being able to resist those urges, for fighting, for mastering their quote unquote willpower, right? And not falling to their desires. So they know that they're being bombarded with these attacks on a daily basis. But as they win these fights, as they accomplish these, as they get these victories, then the attacks begin to slow down. And then they'll be able to live in nirvana and whatnot. So this is something that people around the world are practicing at this very moment. Yeah.
My fault, I was on mute. What do you think about somebody in the chat saying that's just self-induced trauma?
What exactly?
The suffrage that you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd rather self-induced trauma than somebody put me underneath some trauma.
Right.
You know, people put the body through trauma all the time. It's your body.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather traumatize my body than someone else do it. So if this is what I'm doing to activate certain cells and turn on certain things that are dormant and whatnot, then let me do that. You know what I mean? Getting in that cold bath and whatnot, that is considered to be hypothermia. That's traumatic. That's trauma based.
Gotcha.
But it has positive outputs.
Very well said, my brother. I want to get to a couple of questions before we get out of here. We about to hit the 2 hour mark. I don't want to keep y'all too long. I know Blue is on his. Yeah, Blue got to get some sleep.
I got volunteer pain. I got leg day tomorrow. So, like he said, you know,
Can I ask you a question?
Don't even make sense. Yeah.
Has everybody's circadian rhythm been thrown off lately?
It's been interesting. I tell you that.
Like I've been kind of like my energy has been a little different. Like it's been times during the day I just want to lay down and I'm like, why? But
a lot of solar activity.
It's a lot.
I've seen things on the Schumann resonance that I have never ever saw before. I mean, so much of it.
We was just talking. Red was just talking about that before the show.
I got a whole envelope of stuff that's just abnormalities off the Richter type stuff. And we're experiencing. Like I said, we are going through a reckoning and a preparation for purification with our eventual rendezvous. You know, coming towards the end of the year. You know, with this energy, this atmospheric energy. And I wanted to say something as well, again, as a reckoning, because we're moving into a society, like I said, where people feel more comfortable embracing silicon, and Puffy is somewhat responsible for prepping that. We just can't let, we can't let him off the hook, because this also starts by way of Little Kim with her plastic surgery, and then it later becomes Nicki Minaj. Now they have what they call the MAGA face. So this administration, like I said, becoming the template of what masculinity is, but it's hyper masculinity. Femininity that's attached to it is now becoming the beauty standard. So plastic surgeons saying they are inundated by requests from people that want to look like, they want the Pat Bondi look, they want the
Erica Kurt,
the knowing, the Christy Norm and all of that look, the tight face, with the lips, and the men got the jaw lines, and everybody's going under surgery now. So it's all plastic, it's all artificial, it's all concocted. You know what I'm saying? Is all this. It's all this fakeness. It's all this falsehood. It's all this alternative reality stuff, and it ultimately is going to lead into people just becoming hosts for machines, for intelligence that's way more cunning than them, especially when everyone is in the pit. Everyone is on their belly in the pit, showing this aspect of lower scorpionic refusal to properly mine sexual energy to rise scorpionic energy to the phoenix level, where they have the Hawk hood on them. And you would know them when you see them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, this is a universal reckoning. For fathers that have daughters, this is specifically for y'all as well. Please bear witness and sit with this shit and understand, that there's a magnetism, there's a strength, there's a force out here that is determined to vampirically, right, initiate and bring your daughter's essence into whatever this thing is feeding, right? And women are being they're being groomed and conditioned into these things. And I've been speaking to some teachers, and they like, this is the nastiest class of young women that they've ever seen. They would not even dare share with me the things that they have heard about these young women, read about these young women, seen these young women do, heard come out of their mouths, right? And they are being programmed by the baddies. They're being programmed by social media. They're being programmed by the reality stars. They've been programmed by the music from the womb, from the car seat and beyond. You feel me? And be mindful. This is your prize. This is your progeny. These are your daughters. You know what I'm saying? God takes care of fools and women. You know what I mean? It's your job to be on guard. This you can see they do not care about no woman in this society, bro. And I just like why people just don't keep it real and call it what it is, so we can start backwards if we have to. But this fake morality, like I said, how can you turn the eye to what you see in him engaging? But as a culture, we embrace pimpology. We have a warm room for it in the mansion. They ain't closed the door in it. They haven't even put a sign over the door like "Herein lies a piece of shit." We ain't never had that conversation in the culture yet, and it's been a domineering energy, and it suppresses divine femininity in particular. Where just me talking like this gonna get me labeled a simp because they like this nigga cares about women, and none of us do.
Shout out to Urban XTV in the building.
Oh,
The legends. You know what I'm talking about?
oh,
Shout out to Urban
Oh,
XTV in the building. I
oh,
gotta give a special shout out to Professor Griff and Black Dot. We are living in the era of their research.
facts.
We are living in the quote unquote, we're living in their teachings and whatnot. We stand on their shoulders. You feel me? So it's always salute, 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 21 gun salute, Black Dot and Malcolm and the whole team over there. Breh.
indeed, indeed. I want to give a shout out. I had a good show the other day, and the brother called me after the show with Professor James Small.
That was
And
legendary. I saw that.
saying, yeah, it's important that we don't get involved in the internet mob. And me, Red, Blue, we talked about how the internet wants blood plenty of times before, and regardless of what the topic is, and y'all know, y'all know how heartless and brutal the internet can be. So I think it's important as we watch P. Diddy family and Blue mentioned the divine feminine. I think that it's equally important for the brothers to tap into the divine masculine and not be followers, and not follow the latest trend, whether it's flat earth, whether it's it could be anything, whether it's veganism, and I don't want
It is. Yeah.
it could be whatever, but I think we need to all stand on. I think we all need a personal code, and we need to stand on that code, regardless of who agrees or disagrees with it. I'm gonna stand on my code, whether Professor James Small believe it or not, agree with it or not, and he respects that about me, and I respect what the brother said, and I'm glad that we was able to have a magnificent conversation. But yeah, I just I want looking at Diddy. I just want the brothers to really understand who we are in terms of this realm, and it's not in the spiritual community. It's not told enough what we represent or how important masculine energy is. So I'm just here to say that masculine energy is needed. It's extremely important, and I
Man,
don't want any brother at all to not tap into their true potential because they're too busy trying to follow a Andrew Tate, a right winger, who's them weirdos that's out there right now?
Nick
That
Nick Fuentes,
Nick Fuentes,
man.
all these right winger weirdos who Donald Trump, who y'all think is masculine, that really dig,
Blow bubble.
huh?
Who be blowing bubble?
Oh man,
Bubba.
we didn't going to go there, but I just really want us to really not be followers in this era,
But
and
again,
really,
we need to pull the curtains back and again explain and show people what hyper masculinity looks like.
yeah,
A variant of it looks like this to the extreme. Our people, if they're looking for direction, if we have something to offer, we would say find the center. You know what I'm saying? What that means to you. But you have to see what this is because it is the same thing on all levels. All of these men, from Weinstein to Epstein to Donald Trump to Diddy, right? They all are dealing with sexual suppression that expresses itself violently, right? Because of the hyper masculinity, they can't live their truth. You feel me? So they're all out here playing and fronting a role, and that is causing people irreparable harm and damage, especially when they'll go to extreme to keep their secrets from spilling out, even if they're living their secret loud. You feel me? So and then blame that's gaslighting to the illest degree. We're looking at denial and global gaslighting in a way that puts everyone in harm because these people get hyper violent when you corner them and they have to finally admit and live with their truth when they have been allowed to get away with it for the entirety of their life and have been rewarded for the level of guileness that they have expressed. Right? It shatters their entire paradigm. But even Diddy, he still sets himself up as a Scorpio for redemption. You know what I'm saying? So this is still playing into his story arc. And he's definitely never to be counted out. You know what I'm saying? But again, if we could walk away with anything, is for men to check yourself and to, take a measurement of your masculinity and also understand the importance and the necessity of reminding a woman what her potentiality is and who she is if she may have forgotten. You know what I'm saying? There's a divine feminine in her. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of traps out here, baby girl. So keep your eyes wide, all three eyes.
Man.
All three eyes.
Yes.
Red, you was about to say something. I seen you. What you had there, Red? You was what you had there?
That it's just the pendulum, It's just the pendulum. You feel me? And we are all responsible for the swinging of the pendulum. You know what I mean? And like Blue said, it's on our shoulders and whatnot to master ourselves, be a living, breathing example of it, practice a balance, a homeostasis of divine feminine and divine masculine energy, help those who need healing to heal, and just live this thing out. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we have to be those living examples, because if not, then the people could be swayed. The ball is in our court at the end of the day. Nobody is perfect, right? However, what we don't want to do is we don't want to make excuses for people who are super imperfect. Sister Myra said that the number one sin is the abuse of power. Some of us have to even check to see if we are abusing our power, or even what does that look like, right? So the abuse of power in this community, we've seen people get penalized in real time who blatantly abuse their power. So this is not something that she is reaching with, right? This is an actual, factual, real life, quote unquote, penalty that we're seeing play itself out in this calendar year as we prepare ourselves for the return of Big Mama, and as Saturn is nestled very safely in the heavens and whatnot. People are getting hit with their karma, bro. So the abuse of power is a sin, and we have to be able, and power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? So these power trips that they program people to go on and whatnot, you might want to check that and realize, what is the purpose behind some of these things, because they do have us power tripping in social media and whatnot. They do have us power tripping in this quote unquote this rat race that they have everybody caught up in it on this internet.
That's facts. Yeah, that's facts. Yeah. A lot of people power tripping on the internet in the rat race at that. So
rat.
I'm glad you brought that up. Family, I want to thank everybody. We got about 2,000 people in the chat. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Red and Blue, thank you so much, brothers. I appreciate it as always. Y'all come down and do your thing every episode that you're on this channel. So continue to do your things. Much blessings and prosperity to both of you.
We in our
11.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All more go to heaven.
That KTL.
Yo, y'all make 50 look so cool, man.
Thank you.
When I was young, say if I was 20 and a nigga told me he was 50, pardon the language, this is hip hop conversation though. I wouldn't think of y'all. I would have thought of something like I would have thought of a great grandfather. I would have thought of a great grandfather. And when I was
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, facts. So the fact that it's a sign of the times. We're not aging the way we're supposed to age. Age isn't as important of a factor when it comes to pursuing things in life as they used to be. Like there's no limit, there's no age limit. I just seen a new video with Red Pill, and I'm like, yo, Red Pill just turned 50. He did, and I love the video you just did. Shout out to, well, I think it was I don't forget the brother's name.
Oh,
A-Track. Was it A-Track?
A-Thug.
A-Thug son. Yeah, but it was you was like the YNs, the father figure or something. Like you was spitting like your flow. I love the flow of that joint. Like and I'm like, yo, this is that new shit. Like this is what the new 50 is gonna look like. It's like 30, what 30 was 20 years ago, bro.
Facts.
And you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Don't get cool. This is the new paradigm shit.
I would add on to say this too, Rich. You know, sometimes being on the internet too much is not healthy. We know about the blue light poisoning and everything. And that's even something that I'm going into the new year to kind of like fast from and check myself about, right? But what I can say, because I was in the archives earlier looking for a Diddy video that we did out in the streets together in like 2016. So it really took me down this rabbit hole in your archives and whatnot. And I had to admit, I was like, yo, being on this channel was therapeutic for me over the years. And it helped me to preserve my youth, bro. That is something that if I wasn't on the internet like that and I was just living my life and whatnot, and I wasn't doing therapy, because this is my therapy, this is my couch. I probably could have, and I was holding on to certain things because conversations like this is my release. I used to spaz out in Harlem and whatnot during the Sinetta days because I was emoting. I was going through what I was going through and whatnot, and I still had more anger issues. So I'm able to emote. I was able to release. I needed somebody to talk to, and they gave me a camera and said, "Go and talk to the camera." You feel me? But by doing that, I offloaded and I was able to sleep better. And by doing that, I was able to preserve better. You feel me? So I want to say thank you for always providing since 2016 for providing this platform for me and Blue to come and do our therapy and come and get on this couch and sit in front of you you are the therapist. As a Virgo, you're a therapist.
The Virgo
and
therapist.
the music we made as well has been my therapy too. I just leave it.
Me and Rich Run started in December of 2015, so literally it was 10 years ago, and it was the Eric Gardner protest in early December. We got outside in front of the NYPD, right, with the camera and got our people's story that was on the front line. Remember how happy they was to see us? Because, you know, and wasn't nobody moving around from YouTube doing actual footwork with cameras in the street getting people's story. Oh, what y'all channel is? I want to see my... But they there putting their heart in the protest, and the police had the I Can't Breathe shirts on. And you know, just that's when we kind of like locked in. Doing collaborations in the streets with the camera, doing on-site news reporting.
Yeah, it was.
That's when we moved into that.
That's what I was talking to you, Red, that I need to get back into, that I've gotten away from since the pandemic. Like that right there, that on the site, on the street, like that's what 2026 is gonna be more about. That
it
like
was therapy for me because I was moving away from Golden Ledge Radio, and you know, nothing against Red, but I was moving away from the cold pairing of red and blue type, you know what I mean? Because he was uptown, and I was like, I'm gonna let him rock out on.
And I also want to shout out to your audience as well for them looking so vibrant and young. All of the events that we've gone to, I've seen Black Beauty on levels.
Yes.
I've seen the glow up. I've seen the glow up on the people and whatnot.
Yeah.
I see the healing. I see the work. I see the transformation. I see the refinement. You know what I mean? I pick up on all of those things. You know, beauty is therapy to me too. I like to stare at beautiful things. You know, that's my therapy. I like to go in museums and just, you know, look at the paintings and the statues. I like muses and whatnot. So that's like it lightens my heart.
Yeah, we got a Venus placement, so
Yeah.
there's appreciation for aesthetics and beautiful things. And this is a beautiful community and it has beautiful energy. And shout out to Urban X. And just there's a lot of pockets in our community. And please, y'all, our extended condolences to the memory of Baba Heru. They had his memorial through the
Yes.
swinging, and
Oh, wow.
not in New York for that. And it
Wow.
was very beautiful, and it was out
Wonderful.
and gratitude and appreciation for our Baba, our elder who has just recently joined the ancestors, Baba Heru's brother Samaj of Studio Patar. So, again, like I said, just this opportunity to have a lot of diversity. I was telling somebody earlier, like I literally knew about Puff when we seen him in the newspapers, and all the way my entire journey through the industry, we were right next to this person. Like
Mm.
Justin was on the same block as Cheetahs, as Club
Yep.
Envy,
Mm.
every club. Like I probably went 10 years straight seeing this dude in clubs and functions and parties in the industry here, there, and the other. We had many opportunities to throw our hat in the ring and sell parts of our soul that we could bargain off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We made different decisions, and we're literally still here standing on the decisions to this day to not only just to be able to tell about the story from a first side perspective, but be unblemished enough. And I'm not saying that to say that we don't have any mistakes or there's not work that needs to be done, but we get to move into counsel. We get to move into the proper aspect of eldership. And I just want to, be able to utilize opportunities like this to teach. You know what I'm saying? To lend gems, to do what elders supposed to do, to give game to the youth, to give you perspective, to be vulnerable, to tell you the secrets. You know what I'm saying? Because something that we shared tonight could potentially save a life. And that's all it's about. If you have the opportunity to do that, the only way that we can be made right what has been done wrong is to do right and be the example of that and to share information, and share it from the heart. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, yeah, something that we said can connect with somebody tonight.
So I want to end it on this.
Right.
If you have an energy that's surrounding you that reminds you of that Diddy energy that you're going to see when you see that documentary, just know that it's possible that these people really exist. They don't have to be a billionaire to have that type of energy, that type of parasitical energy where they look for hosts and whatnot, that uber narcissistic, quote unquote, sadomasochist, heartless type of energy, that dehumanized quest for power where people will trample over anything and everyone. You might want to separate yourself from archetypes and energies like that, because that energy harvester will harvest you. They will destroy you. They will try to take your light. They will live in your shadow. Look at what somebody's alleged best friend did to their best friend, lining them up and whatnot, destiny swapping with them. This is just a life lesson outside of all of the sexual deviancy. Just look at the life lesson of what jealousy and envy can do to one. Just to look at what the Judas principle could do and whatnot, and identify that moving into 2026, you might want to cut some people off. Or you see how they had this whole thing where people are not dealing with their family anymore because of the and because of the disrespect and the cutting of ties that had taken place through 21 through 2020 up to like 2023, when people got cut off, they got excommunicated, they got thrown out, they got they got kicked out.
Listen.
So now people are getting their
Pandemic
get
shit?
back.
Some pandemic type shit?
Yeah. Remember
I
the
told
thing
you.
in the arm.
Bro, I told you. My lady, how do you want to say it? Well, I'm gonna just say fuck it. Her godmother left a present. She had a present for our son and left it in the hallway because she know we didn't fuck with the Jabberwocky.
Yeah.
So we couldn't even come in her house.
Right.
Dude, you know how you throw some shit in the hallway, like get that shit,
Like,
get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
All right, don't come in here, nigga. Then you know what's crazy? 2 years later, they act like nothing never happened. They don't say you were right. They don't say, oh shit.
Not a word.
Not a word. I'm talking about the human psyche is some amazing shit.
It is amazing.
The human psyche will be like, I did that? When did I do that? I didn't do that. But when it was going down, nigga, we was like animals when it was going down. They wanted to round us up like motherfucking turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Put them niggas in a FEMA camp.
Bro,
they're gonna put us in a Target somewhere.
My nigga, listen, it was insane. So I just, I got a little triggered when you said
right. So that energy, this that's what I'm saying. The word of the day is the reckoning. Let's have a reckoning, right? And use him as a catalyst. But let's have a reckoning in our personal affairs, in our nation's affairs, right? In our tribe's affairs, moving forward. Being that we all survived this shit. If we're here right now, you should pat yourself on the back because this is not an easy ride. This one right here was not an easy trip. You know what I mean? And you're here for a reason. I feel that we should all find out our purpose, give ourselves new names, and start living that shit out because we're in a new chapter in the book. We should all give ourselves like new titles and shit. Like we should rename ourselves. Like
we gotta listen. No, this show is so incredible. I know we keep saying we're gonna end it. I just want to add on one little thing to what Red said. I know Blue going crazy. He done chased it because Blue needed sleep. All he thinking about is working out his body and shit like that. Nigga, your body. Tell your body to chill, nigga. Tell your body to chill. That's all Blue. But listen, I just wanted to say that, and I forgot what I was about to say. But what did you just say, Red? Because I
we should give ourselves a new name, a new identity.
I just want to say that nobody is the same because of everything that was going on with the 3-Eye Atlas and the Earth and the solar flares and what Blue said, the human resonance. Nobody is the same as they were 2 months ago. We just don't know it. You know why? Because we're just so distracted. Nobody is the same though. If you really just sat down to yourself for a second and analyze and talk to yourself, you'd be like, something's different about me. You'd be like, something's different about me. No, I'm gonna say this: nobody's the same. Some big differences, some small differences, but nobody's the same as 2 months ago. Promise you.
Yo, Blue. If we make it to December 20th, your name should be Blue Kachina Bay.
Blue Kachina Bay.
Just switch it up. Blue Kachina Ali or something. Like
I like that.
You earned that. You earned that, man. You know what I'm talking about? You earned. But yes, Rich, our DNA got bombarded by the solar flares.
I'm right.
We're too busy to realize it.
The neutrinos.
We're too busy to realize it.
Right.
I don't even know.
Shifting, right.
Time is like this.
12th strand, right. Some people's 12th strand DNA is online. Some people have been activated. I know people that's telling me that they superpowers are on and whatnot. You feel me?
I can attest to it.
Yeah, and birthing pains. Like I'm like niggas feel like Will from Stranger Things. Like there's a birthing pain type of thing going on. But everyone has changed. I do agree, Rich. This year, everybody has changed. We all went through a cycle. We all went through a birthing process. We are coming out on the other side, newer and more refined.
I'm telling you.
And if you still here, you a legend. Find out which god you are. Where's that book? I got the Encyclopedia of the Gods. Find out your attribute and your name and claim that shit. Rename yourself. It don't have to be in public. It could be a private name.
Yeah. Find you a private name for it. Find the number for it and keep that close to your bosom.
Because look,
want to call upon you when you need to reappear.
facts. Because if you're here right now, you are one of the gods. If you're still here, you are an incarnated god. You should find out which one and start calling on that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the shit that people every day on my timeline. People they're checking out, they're leaving in mass. You understand? I don't know what portal has opened up, but folks they up out of here. But I know the ones that ain't leaving, they not leaving because they got work to do. So I would say channel whatever God is here, because I promise you this, what they call the Antichrist, nigga, he's on the way. All of that other shit going on, that eschatology talk, all of that is in play right now. So you might want to summon whoever that 1,000 foot tall entity that's hiding inside of you. You might want to summon that and call on him or her, because these are the times that we are in the new timeline right now. Ashe.
With that being said, Red and Blue, thank you so much, brothers. I will talk to y'all soon. Thank you, my brothers. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I won't be on tomorrow, but I will be back Wednesday. I won't be on tomorrow, but I will be back Wednesday. All right, family. But I want to thank everybody. They gotta get rid of somebody because you don't belong. Somebody doesn't belong in here. Hold up. Yeah, no, not with that talk. That's very negative. All right. I want to give a shout out to King Simon in the chat. That's the Jamaican brethren. The Jamaican brethren, King Simon right there. Shout out to King Simon. King, I gotta go to Jamaica within the next year. I think I'm gonna go next year, King, with the family. I think I told you that. I think I'm gonna go next year with the family, King. I'm gonna let you know. But King, I really want to do a lecture out there. I think I told you that, King. I want to do a lecture out in Jamaica. I would love to do a lecture out there. If you could be of some assistance with that, that would be amazing. Yeah, I would love to do a not me do a lecture, but I would love to, host a lecture out there. You know what I'm saying? They got to be one of them powerful spirits. But I would love to put together a lecture in Jamaica. I think that'd be powerful. One of my favorite spots out of all the places that I visited. Definitely one of my favorite spots in the world. So shout out to Jamaica. And like I said, I want to go. I haven't been in like over a decade, so I want to. I loved it, so I want to go out there. My lady, her father's from out there. Was from out there, so shout out to somebody mentioned Billy Carson. Shout out to Billy. He gave a donation. We had shout out to what's the name of the sister? Pam from Martin. That's my brother Cam Body. You see Cam Body calling me. I gotta call him back. Let me tell him I'm live right now. Yo, Cam, I'm live right now, my brother. Say what's up to the people.
Yo, what's up, yo? My bad. I know what's going on, yo. Good.
It's all good. Cam, I'm gonna call you right after the show.
All right, brother. Yes, sir.
All right, peace. All right. Yeah, me and Cam got a lot of top secret musical stuff going on behind the scenes. But what I was saying was the sister from Martin, Pam, Tachina Arnold. Yeah, shout out to Tachina Arnold. She's donated so many times. I believe this is her right here. And she's shown support for many, many years to the platform. So I believe that's her right there. Shout out to her. I just recognized that. Shout out to Billy and everybody else who gave a super chat. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, Tachina Arnold. I don't think that's how you spell it, but yeah, definitely Tachina Arnold. Yeah. What was the book name? What book you talking about? Somebody said, what was the book name? What book you talking about? Somebody said, I need to call you. I need some music. I'm producing my first album. Oh, King Sam here? Wow, that's dope. King, what's up with that sister? You keep telling me about her. She like sings intergalactic shit. I Kia you or something like that. I really need to do a song with her, King. You know who I'm talking about. She's extremely popular. I really the Encyclopedia of the Gods. Okay. Right. The book Red had put up. Yeah, the Encyclopedia of the Gods, right. I don't even have that book. Inko, yeah. What's her full name? Inko, what's her full name, family? That is like a dream collaboration for me right now. I'm working on a album behind the scenes, like one of the, like our DJ Khaled got like a collaboration album. I'm doing like a collaboration album behind the scenes. Oh, I would love to work with FKA Twigs. I would love to. I listen to some of her music a lot during meditation. I got certain songs I listen to during meditation, and FKA Twigs. Let me just tell you which one it is. For those who let me just tell you which song is that. I don't forgot the name of it. Like my favorite song of hers, I'm about to tell you right now. 2 Weeks. It's called 2 Weeks. 2 Weeks by FKA Twigs. Like I zone out to that. Like I zone out and I go to a whole nother dimension. So shout out to FKA Twigs for creating that music. But her song 2 Weeks, I listen to it, I zone out, and I'm in a whole nother realm. Whole nother realm. So shout out to her. But yeah, that's that sister King Simon was telling me about. She reminds me of Crystal. She reminds me of Crystal. Used to have one years ago. I don't even remember Crystal. I don't even remember who that is, King. I done had so many. I done had so many people on, King. I don't even know who Crystal is, King. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sounds familiar, but I know you said Aniko's sister's good. That's why you gotta put me on, my brother. You gotta put me on. You gotta put me on. You gotta put me on, brother. But listen, shout out to everybody. Just wanted to touch base with y'all before I get out of here. Somebody said I will cry if you do that. Yeah, it's gonna happen, though. It's gonna happen. I don't know when. But it's gonna happen. This is one of the portable keyboards I recently bought. So this is a portable joint. This is portable. It's 37 key, got many keys, very powerful. When you get older in life, you're busy and you're always in different parts of your house. You can't just go to a designated room. So this allows me to be in the same room with my family and everybody's doing their own thing and I could just be in my corner and I have this along with like an MPC. So I have this along with like an MPC, but I could carry this so many different places. It's portable, but there's a whole music renaissance happening for myself and Cambada and others next year. And I would say in the next 5 years, it's going to be something that, you know how they say Diddy had that run and nobody has had a run like that since Diddy. I'm going to have a run. I'm not comparing myself to Diddy, but I'm going to have an incredible run, an incredible music run. So, but this is just some of the things I invest in. A portable, when you're a dad, this is that dad life shit. When you're a dad, you gotta find every opportunity you can to make music. So this is dad life shit. But oh man, it's gonna be a music renaissance unlike anything you've seen in the last 30 years that's about that transpiring happening. Way bigger than the conscious community. It's just the world, just worldwide. So, okay, yeah. You King Simon said I spoke to Erica. That's what's up. Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Somebody said, bro, when are we going to let Kairos up? I don't even know what you're talking about. You could Elaborate. That would be dope. I'm about to get out of here though, but I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, but let me get out of here, family. Like I said, I will be back Wednesday, not tomorrow night. I got some things I gotta take care of. Shout out to Sharif Bey also. He had me get this book. I love sharing books with y'all. This is a little book. Little book he had me get. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna even elaborate. I ain't even gonna elaborate. If you know, you know. And this is something. This isn't even something for the general public. But when we start our Carbon Code Collective, this is something that we'll go over. We'll go over with the family. Oh, Crystal, you talking about the singer Crystal, right? Right, the singer. Okay, I know you're talking about now. Yeah, okay. I thought you met somebody that was on the show that I was interviewing. That's what I was like, who did I interview named Crystal? Somebody said, "Oh, you receive your cigars. That's what's up." And I'm gonna get everybody's cigar out by the end of this week to make sure everybody get theirs before Christmas. So I like I said, I'm about 2-3 weeks behind in general, and I'm gonna get everybody out this week because I know everybody want theirs before Christmas, before New Year's, and all that. So, and I'm telling you, I'm running low. That's why I'm not even promoting right now. But I'm gonna get everybody's out this week, like literally everybody. All right. Yeah, but yeah, Empire 363 Book Club. That's something that I talked about. We definitely got to do that. There's got a lot of things we got to do. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me. Shout out to Mo. I see Mo in the building. Any upcoming events? Nothing solid right now. Nothing solid right now. But I will let y'all know as soon as something comes up. I'm trying to figure out if it would be a good idea to do this AI movie. I was thinking about it being half AI, half real movie, like half, where like a person in real life goes to another dimension, and the dimension it goes to is the dimension, the AI dimension. So it's like, and then they could just go back and forth from the AI dimension to the real dimension. But I don't know if that will be ready in time because I wanted to do the AI joint in February. So I don't know. I think that'll be too soon. But I'm gonna let y'all know. Somebody said, "Can I still order and receive cigar before Christmas?" Yes, definitely. I'm just not promoting it with the link where it's like I'm overwhelmed with orders. Where but you order, you will get your. Brother Rich, Voodoo Chief and Rod Hayes would be insane on here. And I don't even know who Voodoo Chief is. I have no idea who Voodoo Chief is. Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, December 17th, ATL crypto event with Chicago. Yeah, Red told me about that. I gotta I gotta I gotta look into that. I'm gonna try to be there in Atlanta. I'm definitely gonna try to make that. Not definitely try to. I'm gonna make it and chop it up with the brothers about some business. Me and Crypto Bully done did a lot of business together, and amazing a workshop. So shout out to everybody who participated in that. All right. Yeah, just wanted to touch base with y'all before I get out of here. What time is it? Damn, it's 11:41 already. Yeah, like Red said though, that our circadian rhythm change. Nobody's the same as they were 2 months ago. Family, I dare you to spend 10 minutes by yourself, no cell phone, no thinking about external events, just being to yourself. Just being to yourself. It's different. That's if you're able to tap into subtle energies. And if you're not, there's nothing that you can't learn. you just gotta spend more time. If you don't use it, you lose it. So the more time you spend by yourself, sometimes people think just being by yourself is spiritual. You could be by yourself and still be thinking about the noise from the world. When I mean be by yourself, I mean be by yourself without the noise of the world. You could be by yourself and still be thinking about what happened at work while you're by yourself, which means you're not by yourself, you're still at work. I'm talking about really being by yourself and eliminating the noise from the outside world. And once you're able to do that, you'll really discover who you are. Shout out to Brother Robert. Peace, Brother Rich. Please contact me. I just talked to you last week. What were you? You all right, Brother Robert? I didn't even know you was looking for me, my brother. Well, like 2 weeks ago, I think I talked to you. But okay, I'm gonna hit you up. I'll hit you up tomorrow. That's a old school brother, big time supporter. He been around a long time. Delbert Blair days. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brother Robert Smalls. But with that being said, man, everybody enjoy the rest of your night. I'm getting out of here. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back Thursday night. All right, family. I'll be back Thursday night. All right, family. Have a good night. Take this beautiful energy with you into the dream world and manifest the life that you want tomorrow. We could do this one day at a time together. We did a magnificent water experiment last week. If you didn't find out about that, watch one of the old videos that says water on it. I think it's me and Blue Pill did a video. I think it says water. What did it say? Something water on it. But yeah, man, so much we could do spiritually speaking. Like I said, we just keep telling ourselves we're too busy. And but it's the energy's there and it's present. It's there and it's present. All right. Hey, thank you, family. Appreciate y'all. I really do. I had a wonderful time tonight. Everybody have a good night. I want to give a shout out to Seven Bomar. I'll be wearing his watch. A beautiful, magnificent piece of technology. Make sure y'all visit his website. I forgot the exact name, but you could just Google his name and it'll come up. But with that being said, I'm out of here. See you on Wednesday, family. All right. Peace and blessings, y'all.